stand in my bedroom. It's just me there, and I put the phone in front of me, and I take Shahada. And I said, hello, brother. Like, I just took my Shahada. He said, oh, mashallah, brother, welcome. Where did you do it? I said, oh, in my bedroom. He's like, oh, okay. Like, who was there? I said, no, it was just me.
Welcome back to another episode of Amplified Hustle, long overdue, but today I have a special guest with me today. He'd like to share his journey on how he reverted to Islam, so alhamdulillah to that. But yeah, let's get straight into it. Haris, thank you so much for coming into Amplified Hustle podcast today. Really appreciate your time, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Go ahead and introduce yourself there.
Hello, Maz. Just want to say, first off, thank you for inviting me to your studio to do this podcast for you today.
It's not even a studio, man.
I appreciate it, and thank you very much for the invite.
Yeah, man. So yeah, talk to us about your journey, Haris, man. Tell me, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because of course you've, how long have you
So in
reverted to Islam? Sorry.
In March, so next month this year will be 4 years since I took my Shahada. Yeah.
Subhanallah, bro.
Subhanallah.
That's great, man.
Yeah, it was in the first proper lockdown that we had of COVID times.
Yeah.
And alhamdulillah for the time that we had, like the time when you just had time to yourself, you know, you could just sit there, and if you wanted to read something, you wanted to do something, you just had that time. And I found myself having all that free time available for myself, where I could really just delve in deep into any information I wanted to know, any brothers that I'd like to meet up with. Everyone was there because everyone was at home. Yeah. So it really it helped me right at the start.
Yeah. What inspired you to revert to Islam?
I think I'd have to go back a good 10 to 15 years.
Let's talk about that. Let's start from the journey of your life, your upbringing.
Okay. Yeah.
Where you grew up, where you're from.
Okay.
And then how that journey started, and then take it from there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'd say when I was about 15 or 16 years old, I went on holiday with my parents, and we went on holiday to Egypt. I've been to Egypt maybe 5 or 6 times. Always went there for a holiday.
Nice, man.
Yeah, I loved it. So, and when we was out there, we would just meet people, Muslims, brothers, and the welcoming. Like, anyone when they come back from holiday, especially in Egypt, they always say the people are so friendly. Yeah. And then I met this guy. His name was Mohammed, and he was just so friendly, such a kind person, kind soul. He worked at the hotel, and he used to tell me, like, give me information, pointers about Islam, and without ever saying do this, do that. It was just, this is what he believed. And then throughout my life, I born Catholic, went to a Catholic school. I started having questions about my religion at the time.
Right.
And I used to always be kicked out of class for asking these kind of questions. Say, teacher, we're in religious studies, and I'd say to the teacher, why are we praying to Jesus? And you can't say this in a Catholic school, but I'd say, why am I praying to Jesus when Jesus said he prays to God? Why don't I pray to God? Can't ask this question in a Catholic school. Out. And then the next week, same thing again. And then I'm disobedient. I'm a naughty child. So as soon as I left school and those kind of studies stopped, that's where my religion stopped. 15, 16 stopped. Didn't have any affiliation with a religion. I just thought...
What do you say, like an atheist, basically? Or?
No, I always believed in God. Okay. I didn't know what it was. I didn't believe Christianity. Didn't have any heart in it, even though I grew up with it, my family, everything. It was just not for me. But I always thought you have to be a good person. I didn't want to live a life where there was no God. I always believed in a God, but I didn't know what it was. But I knew there was something. Yeah. And then that sort of, when I left school up until about 19, 20, I found myself on like a spirituality journey of, instead of praying, it was meditating, you know, do good and it comes back to you, karma and all this stuff. And then you're kind of, in spirituality, you're kind of always searching for something. No one knows what you're searching for. Yeah. But everyone says there's something out there, you know, in the stars, where we came from. And then that was me for probably about 10 years. Yeah, up until about 26, 27.
Yeah, did you have anyone around you at that moment, like, to influence you or...
For Islam?
Yeah, for Islam, or give you advice?
No.
This is all... Like...
This was from a person that I'd met when I was 15 or 16, Mohammed. And then throughout my life of even spirituality, I would say if I would be any religion, I would be Muslim, because that's the only thing that I would feel would be, without even knowing any information about it. I just always said if I'd be any religion, I'd be Muslim. But that as far as it went. I never looked into it, never spoke to anyone about it. Just because of the, like, one example would be like a brotherhood that he spoke to me about. You know, like he was telling me a story how one Muslim died in another country. He doesn't know him, has no affiliation to him, except he was telling me that if one Muslim dies, we say Umrah now, every Muslim would feel it. And I just felt like, wow, that's quite powerful. I remember having that feeling of him telling me that was quite a striking feeling that he gave me. And that was about as much as I knew as far as...
How long were you in Egypt for?
That time, like 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good, man. Sounds amazing. I was going to say, so talk to us about how you went about taking your Shahada, like the journey, the process, the days leading up to the day. Talk to us about that.
Yeah.
Share that with our viewers.
I was in a period of time, like I say, it was just after lockdown. There was no work. Everyone was at home. I was watching videos on YouTube about becoming Muslim. I just felt like I'd hit a point in my life when I needed to do something, and there was no money or this or that was going to fix it. The change was coming from inside. That's how I felt at the time, that I needed to change myself, to change the situation that I was in.
And what situation were you in?
I just felt like the unluckiest person in the world. Right. If you said to me, do you want left or right, whatever one I chose was the worst thing. And it wasn't just that's the wrong one. It was like, this is a spiral for you that you're going to be in. And that's how I felt with anything. I'd go to a job, I'd have 2 job offers, I'd go to one job and this was the worst job, and then that job is gone. And it was just like that constantly.
Yeah, it's like you're battling.
Constantly, yeah. And I just would almost say, am I cursed? Like, is that what someone's done to me? Am I a cursed person? Or nothing will ever be good. So I wanted to change inside what I was doing. I was, at that time, no information or knowledge of the religion. So I was drinking, I was smoking, doing all the stuff that is not going to help you change yourself on the inside or change your situation. That is what I would do. That would be my routine, to do that stuff.
Yeah.
So then when I felt this feeling burn inside me, like I've got to make a change, I've got to start doing something different. And then I always thought, if I was going to be any religion, I'm going to be Muslim. So I spoke to my sister, and I would say I was kind of really low at one point. And I don't want to say I was the word depressed, because I'd say in my life I had been depressed. But at this time I wasn't depressed. I was just low, like something needs to change. So I spoke to my sister and I said, Megan, like, I really want to do something that I feel is the right thing. And I think I want to become Muslim.
What did she say to that?
She's so happy. Because my sister's, we are open-minded, kind people. We don't care whatever someone looks like. Religion doesn't matter to us. So told my sister, she's so happy. She went to uni and she's got some Muslim friends, and she said, I'm going to call them. I want you to talk to him and let him know. So he's called me, and it's actually one of my sister's neighbours now. Very good guy. Yeah, he's phoned me. And he said, like, what's going on? So I just started talking to him, and I said, you know what? I feel like I want to become Muslim. Like, I just want to know, what do I need to do? And he said, why you have this feeling, you must act upon it, like straight away. Like, if you have a feeling, just do it. So the next thing you need to do is take your Shahada. So that's something that you should start looking into and prepare to do that. Okay, perfect. So had a nice chat with him, got off the phone. The next day comes and I'm like, no, I'm ready. I'm so ready to take my Shahada. I'm going to learn how to do it right now. So I'll go on YouTube and start Googling, how do you take Shahada? I learn about wudu, like the wash you have to do, or ghusl. So I start doing all this. Put on clean clothes. I stand in my bedroom. It's just me there. And I put the phone in front of me and I take Shahada. And I read it word for word, very slowly, off Google. I'm probably I know I'm pronouncing it so wrong because this is the first time I'm saying these words. I'm reading it in English, in Arabic, and after I done it, I was like, wow, I'm Muslim. I just took my shahada. I phoned my sister, Megan, I just took shahada. She went, oh, wow, well done, bro. Where did you do it? I said, I just done it in my room. She's like, oh, okay, ring Khaled. So I'll get off the phone and phone the guy that spoke to me. And I said, hello, brother. Like, I just took my shahada. He said, oh, mashallah, brother, welcome. Where did you do it? I said, oh, in my bedroom. He's like, oh, okay. Like, who was there? I said, no, it was just me. He's like, brother, okay. He's like, okay. Listen, don't worry. On Friday, come meet me. We go to the mosque and we have to do your shahada.
That wasn't valid, did it?
Yeah, he said, oh, it's very beautiful, brother, but you need a witness there, 2 witnesses there, and you need to do it properly, just so that, and he explained it so that in 6 months' time, you can't say, well, I never done that. It's like you need witnesses there. So, like I said, this was in COVID lockdown times. So he said, come with me on Friday. And we're going to do your shahada. So, okay, I go to Forest Gate, which is an area I used to live in, Forest Gate Masjid. And
Is that in London?
In London, yeah. So I go there, and as soon as I turn up, he gives me like Galabaya. So I put that on, and it's Jummah, so I start praying. And because
But did you know how to pray then?
Because in my mind I took shahada,
Yeah.
even though it wasn't valid, but now I'm really reading it. I'm learning how to pray. I'm doing this. So when I've gone to Jummah, I didn't know it was 2 rakahs or anything like that. I didn't know that kind of stuff, but I knew how to pray.
Yeah.
And I was just saying.
So you already learned how to pray before you even went to the mosque, before you took your shahada, official shahada.
Official shahada, yeah. So when I got there and it was time to pray, I knew how to pray. I was only saying what I had to say in English because I didn't know the Arabic, but
Yeah.
I'd have it on a piece of paper and I would read it in English.
Talk to us how you felt when you got to the mosque.
So
The feeling when you walked through that door, when you're knowing that on that day you're going to be taking your shahada, what your friend said to you, the process.
So
tell our viewers what it's like.
My friend, as he said, you need 2 witnesses there. I'm thinking, go there. I can be in a room with a couple of people. I'm not nervous. 2 people, no problem. So we go there. I'll go there on my own. I walk in there. He gives me a galabaya, so I put that on. I've refreshed my wudu, and then he says, "Come pray Jummah, and then we'll do your shahada after." I said, okay, or not. Sort of just, he didn't say pray Jummah, he said sit in the back with Jummah and then we do your shahada after. So, okay, so I sit down now. In my mind, like I said, I'm already Muslim. I took my shahada in my bedroom. So at this time, I wasn't drinking, smoking, nothing. Wasn't doing any of that stuff.
Okay, cool.
I turn up and get the galabaya and he tells me, just sit at the back of this masjid. And there was 500 people plus in this masjid. Yeah. So I sat at the back and I prayed because I'd learned how to pray. So it's time to Jummah, I'm going to pray. I'm wearing my galabaya, I'm feeling nice. And I'm thinking once this prayer is over, I'm going to take my shahada with my brother my friend in the room with 2 witnesses. So we prayed Jummah, 2 rakahs, and I'm sitting there on the mat listening to him speak. And he's a mufti, so he was talking at the masjid. And then he said, I'd just like to take this moment to invite a special guest up to the front. He would like to take his shahada. And I'm thinking, nah, but I'm here for my shahada. Is he really asking me? And he went, his name is Brother Harris. Harris, can you come forward? I'm getting all the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I'm like, oh no. I've gone from no witnesses to thinking I only need 2 to now I have a masjid of, there must have been 700-800 brothers in here praying. Okay, so I stand up and I walk into the front, and I sit down, and he just gives a little speech that where I'm come from, why I'm here, and I wish to take shahada. And I couldn't even look, there was just so many people. And I wouldn't say I was nervous, but I just thought, what a beautiful moment. I took it on my own with no witnesses, and in my heart that was correct. And then he said, come on, you just need 2 witnesses. And then I've gone to 700-800 witnesses, and I think, wow, that felt so powerful to me. And I was like, okay, this was my shahada. This was the day I become Muslim, not with no one there or 2 people there. I had a masjid full of people, and that really felt special to me to have that many people there.
Emotions flying.
Really, yeah. I don't think I cried when I took my shahada, which is just the day you become Muslim, when you say it in English and then say it in Arabic. But the feeling I had, I have explained it before, and it was probably the best way that I could always remember it.
Okay.
And I felt like once I was sitting there and I took my shahada, and then at the end he said, tasbih, which is, everyone say Allahu Akbar. I felt like I had a cloak on me as I was sitting down taking my shahada. I had a cloak, and then when I had finished giving shahada, and I heard people say Allahu Akbar and start to hug me or shake my hand, I felt like everything just come off me. Everything, like I was, I get like a shiver. Like the cloak was gone. Yeah, that was it. That
all
this
those
is
ill feelings that you had and feeling low and down.
yeah, all gone. There was no other feeling other than I just felt so clean. Like this is day one now. And at the end of it, and then that's probably the best way I could explain it, is having something that was weighing me down and then stripped off, like pulled away from me,
like
gone,
being born again.
Literally, yeah. And then when I found that out, that the day you take shahada is everything that you've done previously is gone. Like you're basically a newborn baby. Like you're so clean. You've never. And I just felt, well, that's exactly what I could that was the feeling that I just had inside. And then now I'm being told this. It was, really special moment.
Yeah, such a blessing, Haris. Alhamdulillah for that. And how did you find it the first few months on being a Muslim?
It was right at the start of the first lockdown, 2020. So it was like everything was new. But I don't know if you remember, we had a really nice summer that year, that first lockdown summer. And like I said, brother Khaled, who was my sister's neighbour, once he knew I was Muslim, I took my shahada. He kind of, I want to say, took me under his wing. And I used to go to his house. He had 3 children and wife, everything. And he'd say, come with me, we're going to this park nearby. He said, because the mosques are starting to close down now, we're going to go meet the brothers and we're going to pray. Perfect, like, this is nice. So then every day we'd meet up. I'd meet him around midday, 11 o'clock midday. We'd drive to this local park. And when I got there must have been 30, 40 brothers every day. From 11, 12 o'clock, everyone's bringing either a little bit of cake, tea, someone bring coffee, and we'd meet there and we'd be there from midday till, well, say Maghrib at night, and at 9 o'clock at night, we'd just be there, we're doing all our prayers, we're playing football in the park, meeting, talking to all these brothers, and it was like that through the whole lockdown for a good 4 months. Not every day, but near enough 5 days a week. Yeah. Meeting up with these brothers, everyone's talking to me. I'm meeting other reverts that have been... they took their shahada, reverted 25, 30 years ago, and these are the people that I'm meeting, and it was just such a special time that gave me so much knowledge and taught me so many things from the very beginning. I just felt so blessed in that moment.
Wow.
For the months leading after my shahada.
Okay, so how would you say your life's changed since embracing Islam?
Well, like I said earlier, I just felt like the unluckiest, cursed person in the world. Like, this is how I felt. And then...
How long were you feeling like that for?
Years. And I'm not sure all the viewers are going to understand this, but now as Muslims will understand, I felt like I had shaitan on me. And I don't know how to explain it. I would easily do the wrong thing all the time. So how has my life changed since? So how my life has changed since is the power of prayer. Muslims will understand this. Making all my prayers, doing more than the minimum that's required to, in my opinion, be a good Muslim, which is all we're trying to do. And I feel like just doing that, I managed to shake the stuff away from me that was negative or which was wrong. And that was quite easy to do because I felt so clean. Like, I wouldn't meet certain people anymore. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that. I just wanted what's going to make me a good Muslim. And then once I became, in my opinion, a lot better Muslim from myself, not better than anyone, but a better Muslim in myself, I found that I was able to think with such clarity and decide purposely of what would be better for me and what would be the right outcome. What would a good Muslim do? And I'm going to do that. And then my life started to change. I never had a driving lesson before Islam. I become Muslim. I got a driving license quickly, I passed first time. I went and got a car, and all this stuff. Oh, okay. So if you just, for me, it was do your prayers, do it a bit more than the minimum, and you will start to see these positive changes in your life. And that was just from like such an early time, from shahada to being having all these positive things start coming towards me. First it was a driving lesson,
Yeah.
then a license, then a car, and then a training course for a job, and then I got the job, and then I upgraded the ticket for the job, and then I started earning more money than I've ever earned before, and it just started snowballing into such
Yeah.
positivity. And I thought, oh, I'm only doing this stuff, like I'm only doing prayers, and it was made me realize that all that stuff that was all before was weighing me down because of how I was acting. So that's how I very knew quickly that what I'm doing is the right thing, because me doing this and positive is happening rather than me doing nothing and constantly bad stuff. So my job now is part of the snowball effect of positivity that was happening in my life. So now I'm at a certain stage in my career, which is from good decisions, hard work, and like I say, it was thanks to Allah that all this is happening for me. And I had no idea that I'd get to work wherever it is, especially Hinkley Point as well. And the time comes I need to pray, and I'd say, oh, it's not something that I want to go around shouting about. It's just personal, like I said. So it's time to pray. Where can I pray? And I was so surprised that every site I've been to, going on 4 years now, there's many sites. Every one of them has had a prayer room. And I'm sitting there and I'm always thinking, have these always been here? Has this always been a thing? And I just had no idea. But now I need them and they're always there. So thanks to Allah, I've always had somewhere to pray. So the fact of working and needing to pray, never been an issue.
This is a personal question, Harris, but how would you say your personal relationships changed, if it has, with your family and friends since you've reverted to Islam?
Short answer, positively. Which I think any hang-ups or nervousness about telling my family had only come from me.
Right.
We grew up in a Catholic household. My dad Catholic, my mum Catholic. So it's normal, it's natural. How are you going to tell people that now you've turned your life around completely? You're not going to do anything that you've done for the last 25 years. You're now down a complete new path, a path that they are not going to understand. So I've always been a bit of a black sheep in my family, because of life and the way things worked out. So if I was to say, oh, I'm going on holiday for 6 months, that's Harry. If I said I'm Muslim now, well, that's Harry. That's how my family come to know me. Telling my dad, I was careful with the words I chose to use. I didn't say, Dad, I'm Muslim now. That's going to wind him up. So I said, Dad, I've decided to turn my life around, devote my life to God. But that for me means God is Allah and I'm now Muslim. And the way I said it like that, I don't think he was in any position to be angry. Wait, my son's just told me.
Did you think he would be
I thought
angry?
he would be. So he's strict Catholic. So
Right.
I wanted to tell him in a way that wouldn't offend him or make him angry, thinking that I'm doing it to spite him or something like that.
Yeah.
So I was careful. And I just thought, you can't be angry if my son ever calls me and says, Dad, I want to give my life up to God now. You can't be angry at that. Nah. So that was how I told him. And his reaction was so nice and so positive. He said, son, whatever makes you happy, that makes me happy. And then nice as we grew our relationship on better from that, he knew that as long as I was doing good, turning my life around, watching this snowball effect of positivity happening, he's never had a bad word to say about it. Wow. That was my dad. And then my mum, again, the black sheep of that family, my mum did not married anymore. So it was 2 conversations I had to have. Right. So I told my mum the same thing, and she's kind of, they're old school, but they're not horrible. My mum said the same thing. Son, if you're happy, I'm happy. So it was easy. If I had anything to be nervous about, it was telling my grandparents, because they're not only strict Catholic, they're still married and are old school Irish. And I went round there one day, and to tell them, my sister had told my nan, but my nan wanted to hear it coming from me. So my nan waited for me to tell her. So I've gone round there on a Sunday, and she cooked this dinner, roast dinner. And she's like, oh, Harry, I've done you a big dinner. I've done you a meat and everything. And I said, oh, thanks, but I can't eat this. And she said, what? Played it. My nan's soft lady, so she played it like she didn't know already. I said, oh, you know, I said it in a nice way. Listen, I've decided to give my life up to God. And she went, oh, that's so nice. I said, yeah, Allah, I'm now Muslim. And she went, oh, all right, so what does that mean? I said, well, you know, I don't drink anymore. I don't eat this certain food. I'd go around to my mum's house and she'd make a Sunday dinner, and I'd say,
Oh, that must have changed for you then.
completely,
So, of course, you don't do any Sunday dinners
and
anymore.
my mum,
Then.
she'd be so nervous about getting it wrong. She's like, I went to the butcher's, I bought halal chicken. I was like, but mum, are them vegetables halal? She was like, no. Oh, my sister, Robin, you didn't tell me get halal vegetables. And me and my sister are laughing. Like, yeah. That's all right, mum, don't worry, I can eat it. She's like, you sure? I said, I'll eat them, yeah.
Oh.
It's funny. So it was like all positive. Yeah. I've never had a bad experience, no.
Oh, bless
In my family as well, so.
Alhamdulillah, bro.
Alhamdulillah.
And, so, Harris, are there any cultural differences that you'd say you've struggled with since becoming a Muslim? Sunday roast dinner, that's out of the park.
Yeah, that's gone.
No pork, no bacon.
Yeah. Cultural differences, no. You know what? I'd say
Christmas, do you still do Christmas with
No,
your family or
no,
anything like that?
no. My house, Christmas free zone. I enjoy the time off work and the cheap chocolates on Boxing Day from the supermarket, but that's as far as it goes.
That's it, all
Yeah,
gone now, yeah?
all gone. Yeah, you know, from a young age, growing up, like I said, I was a bit of a black sheep in my family, so Christmas was never a big thing for me. I lived on my own for a long time. Christmas dinner was kind of rare, you know. It's not that I went somewhere every single year and had Christmas dinner. That was a normal thing. So for me to say, well, you know, Christmas is not a big thing now was fine for me. This was a normal day. Many years have gone by when I never had a Christmas tree or a Christmas dinner, or I'd have to work instead. That became normal. So the normal for me now was something that I was doing way before Islam.
Well, Harris, one last question I'd like to leave you with is what advice would you give to others that want to revert into Islam?
Oh, good question. If it's in your heart to do it, take your Shahada, become Muslim, go ahead and do it. And once you've done it, then your life can begin. If it's in your heart to do that, then go ahead and do it. That's advice number one. Number two would be to get some good brothers around you. And it takes time. No, it's not easy. Find some good brothers, ask them how to pray, any questions. Find brothers around your own age, you know, because someone 50 years old is not going to be with always the best advice for someone who's 20 who's interested in taking Shahada. So find some brothers your own age you at the mosque after you've took Shahada. Learn as much as you can. So yeah, just keep up with the knowledge the best you can. Learn how to pray. And if your heart is in it, it comes to you so naturally, so easy. And I think the best way to keep it coming to you naturally is good brothers around you. If you're not sure what to do, a brother can guide you. Let's go pray. Let's go here. We need to do this next. And this is what I had from my own experience. At the beginning, took my Shahada every day with brothers at the park, become my friends, all, you know, older, younger, all just such a good mix. So when life kind of went back to normal after COVID, I was easily making prayers. I had good group of at least 10 excellent connections of brothers, local masjid, learned how to pray. And then after such a short time, that becomes so natural and so easily, and it won't feel like anything strange the sooner you can make it natural. So tell your family once you've done it, don't be ashamed. It's your life. Do what makes it right for you.
Yeah. No, that's some great advice. Yeah, thank you so much. Well,
Thank you.
if you like this episode, please don't forget to subscribe. And until we see you next time, see you. Peace.